Time now for our Rants and Raves of the week. And again, we're coming to you this week from our studios at the Boston Public Library. So if you hear a little more noise than usual, that would be why. First up, Dan Kennedy.
Okay, I have a rave for the News Media Alliance, which represents the newspaper business. They're seeking permission from antitrust laws to talk collectively with Google and Facebook about the fact that all of the digital ad revenue is going to Google and Facebook, and virtually none of it is going to newspapers. I just urge them to be innovative and forward-thinking and not go with a tin cup in their hand and say, you need to pay up. But other than that, I think it's a great thing.
That they're meeting with them. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, Dan Lothian.
Well, I have a rave for CBS News. They announced this week that they're doing a partnership with the BBC. It will allow them to have more original reporting from around the world. And I think it's important. This is a time when we're seeing at least the major networks shrinking away from some of these foreign bureaus. And I think in general, many Americans oftentimes don't really care a lot about what's going on around the world or don't get a chance to see what's going on around the world unless it's breaking news. And there's so much more going on beyond a shooting or a plane that fell down out of the air. And so I think this is important, that if they indeed will be having more international, in-depth coverage that the BBC often has. In fact, my son, he watches the BBC all the time because he said, I can't learn about the world watching regular TV around here.
Well, it's interesting because at that same conference, Les Moonves, who's the head of CBS, said that they were also thinking, he said, we've been, I don't know if they've been in talks, but they were talking about some kind of a merger with CNN. He sounded fairly serious about it.
Well,
which would also change the landscape.
That would change the landscape, and of course CNN has CNN International, which allows
CBS is the only network
that doesn't have, and that's probably what they wanted. But it probably is much more than just being able to have good journalism around the world. I mean, now you can double up on resources, or use their resources and not have to use yours to cover a story. It gives you more flexibility. But it also checks that box. It's saying, look, we care about what's going on around the world. It doesn't have to be just bad news. It could be some innovation, and we're going to bring it to you.
All right. Callie.
Oh, this is good news.
Oh, good. I think it's a rave.
Yes, it's a rave. I have a rave for Teddy Fisher. He's a student at Mercer Island High School in the state of Washington. He writes for the school newspaper called The Islander, and he got an interview exclusively with Defense Secretary Mattis. Now, how did he do this? Because he noticed in a picture published by the Washington Post, in which there was a security guard for President Trump carrying around a pad, a yellow sticky note, there was a phone number for Secretary Mattis. Yep. He texted the number to see if it was really, he called and, didn't leave a message. He heard his voice. Then he texted a number and asked for an interview for The Islander and waited. And a couple days later, Secretary Mattis called. Yes, Secretary Mattis called him back and gave him, supposed to be 15 minutes. He went 45 minutes. Secretary Mattis has a fondness for Washington State. He's from there and also is affiliated with the Hoover Institution. And he gave him a wide-ranging interview on ISIS, on what high school kids should do in the future, and good journalism.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. Break any news?
Yeah, he did actually in that conversation. So it's the interview went viral.
That's great.
And yes, I love it.
That's good. Yeah. All right, Tom.
Yeah, Dan and I can compete to get this kid to come to our school.
Exactly.
I just sort of a rave here. I wanted to give a shout out to a reporter, Bill Estep, and the Lexington Herald. Lexington Herald Leader, that's the one here. If you've ever seen that TV show on HBO, Better Call Saul, which grew out of Breaking Bad, Bill Estep has been covering the story of a real kind of a Saul, a con man named Eric Kahn, literally named Eric Kahn, who has built the federal government out of millions and millions of dollars in a Social Security scam, apparently the largest Social Security scam in history.
Story,
And just as he was about to be sentenced, he disappeared and has been emailing Bill Estep from his whereabouts, trying to cover his tracks and how he's creating his new life. It's a great story. To your point, Dan, there are other things going on besides Russia, and this is a really fun story.
So is the government going to come after him, though? And
the government is coming after him.
No, after the reporter.
After Bill Estep. Well, no, because he has been sharing the emails that he's getting from the con man with the FBI, which is always one step behind him. Last time he was seen earlier earlier today on the border of New Mexico and Mexico in a Walmart. So
wow.
This is a fun story.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I give them. So there is real journalism going on in small-town newspaper America, and it's a lot of fun.
And in high schools.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
All right, I have a rave tonight, and this is one of our favorite topics about Twitter, but Allison Camerata, who's the co-host of New Day with Chris Cuomo, announced on air and in print this week that she was folding her Twitter account, that was it. She just couldn't take it anymore. No matter what she did, said somebody was after her, whether it would be personal appearance or the way she spoke or something she said or something she believed. She said it just got to the point where 90% of what came into her Twitter feed about her and the show was negative. It's brutal. I mean, we can all identify, we get a little of that ourselves, but...
Well, Brent Stevens just did that from the New York Times as well.
He cut it down for the same reason?
Yes.
Well, of course, he's a conservative columnist for the New York Times, so he'd probably get a lot of really brutal...
He just said, there's no more use for me. I'm done here. Yeah.
I mean, I don't check it that often. My colleague Adam Riley is rather compulsive, but he says he's so much more relaxed when he doesn't check Twitter. He feels good if he gets up on a Saturday morning. He doesn't... He says the minute he checks it, he's just like into this knot, and it's like,
Right. Yeah, I'm still there, but it's a real problem.
Yeah, you're on it more than
especially for women.
Yeah, especially for women.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I got an ugly dress hashtag last week.
Oh well,
It was a cute dress too. All right.